Okay, Shavua Tov, Shalom everybody. So tonight is a very special day. Tonight is Tu B'Av, which is exactly 45 days before Rosh Hashanah. 45 is Gematria Ma. 45 is Ma, what? Ma. But also Ma, 45 is Adam, man. Aleph is 1, Dalet is 4, and Mem 40, 45. So it's one of the happiest days of the year, and the next happiest day of the year is Yom Kippur, which is 55 days from now. But let's focus on the 45 days between now and Rosh Hashanah. That now today is seen as a preparation for Rosh Hashanah. In Breslov circles, Tu B'Av is considered a day that people already start getting ready for Rosh Hashanah. Normally in the world, Elul, it's called Zman Elul. The yeshivas start in Elul. Sfardim start saying Slichot in Elul. Many things start in Elul. And also people start reciting Tikkun Zohar and all that stuff. So even Rabbi Nachman suggested to do special devotions and prayers. But the Breslover Hasidim would do it already from around Tu B'Av, even before. Some people do before, right after Tisha B'Av. Some people already on Tu B'Av, some people on Shabbos Mevarchim. But the thing is that now there's a preparation for Rosh Hashanah. In the world, normally this time is like, it's called Ben Azmani. People are just out of it, people are on vacation. But by Breslov circles, there's no vacation. And especially this year, that anyways, how could anybody have a vacation? And they say any day is going to be war, and the world is upside down, the economy is upside down, everyone's upside down because of what happened this year. So how could you say you're going on vacation? How could you say you're going on vacation? So it makes more sense to use this time as a preparation. I said once, Tisha B'Av is such an energy afterwards. Tisha B'Av, the morning of Tisha B'Av, the keynote, the dirges, the brokenheartedness, that brings down a lot of energy. Plus that they say Mashiach is born in the afternoon of Tisha B'Av. So what does that do for me? On my personal level, what is that supposed to mean? That Tisha B'Av offers now a new boost of hope and energy. And it's chaval, it's a shame that it goes to waste on just summer vacation. It's good to take that energy and put it into something else. What? Preparation for Rosh Hashanah. If you do the calculation from the beginning of the 3 weeks, that means Yud Zayin B'Tammuz until Tisha B'Av is 3 weeks. And then from Tisha B'Av till Rosh Hashanah is 7 weeks. 7 plus 3 is 10 weeks. These 10 weeks are 10 weeks of preparation for Rosh Hashanah. The number 10 is very significant. The 10 commandments, the 10 sfirot, the 10 utterances of creation. This number 10 is significant in that it's a unit. Okay, fine. The first 3 were difficult. The first 3 weeks of Yud Zayin B'Tammuz, Tisha B'Av, those in the Kabbalah correspond to what's called Chochmah Bina Dat. We commemorate mourning that our brains are fried. What does it mean our brains is fried? That the Beit Midrash was destroyed, was beginning to be destroyed and destroyed within these 3 weeks. And the Beit Midrash is considered the place of the seat of intellect, the true place of Da'at, right? Like we say, Ki mitzion tetzeh Torah. Torah comes out of Tzion, Zion, which is Yerushalayim, the Beit Midrash. Okay, so we mourn those 3 weeks over the destruction of the temple, which is the destruction of our brain. That because we don't have clarity in our intellect, everything is cloudy, clogged, bogged up. We don't have clear perspective. Even on Judaism, we're not into it. We admit that we're out of it. We admit that we're weak. We admit that things are not like they should be. That's the 3 weeks, right? Sorry. And then from Tisha B'Av is the 7 weeks. These 7 weeks are called in the Torah, in the Halacha, Shiva de Nechamata. The 7 Parshayot from this week, Ekev, until right before Rosh Hashanah, every Haftarah is like a consolation. The 3 Haftarot of the Shabbatot of the 3 weeks were called Tlata de Puranuta, the 3 Parshiot of punishment, of suffering, of danger, of bad. Because they all speak about the destruction of the temple. All 3. Okay, but these 7 ones are considered consolation Bezrat Hashem, meaning that is giving a boost of hope. But they work together, the 7 plus 3, 10. So it makes sense that we're in preparation now for Rosh Hashanah and to take advantage of it. So many Breslover Hasidim, they already start more devotions already. They don't take summer break. There's more devotions already in saying Tikkun Zohar, in going over Rabbi Nachman's teachings. All these beautiful prayers Reb Noson wrote as a preparation for Rosh Hashanah, for the month of Elul. It's so much, Baruch Hashem, and that's the boost. So really from this time of Tu B'Av, it's really a boost of preparation for Rosh Hashanah. Ma, will become a man. Adam is referring to a verse, Adam lashevet ala kiseh, in the vision of Yecheskel, chapter 1 of Yecheskel. So Yecheskel has a vision of the divine chariot. It's called the vision of the Merkava. And he said he saw Dmut Adam Yoshev al Kiseh, the image of a man. It's not Chas Shalom Hashem, right? It's an image of a man sitting on a chair. So the idea is that Rosh Hashanah, we're preparing for the Yom Adin, and that the sitting on the chair, the throne of Hashem, should be done properly. In other words, the 45 days prefacing Rosh Hashanah, which is Gematria Adam, should allow us that we have Adam Yoshev al Kiseh, meaning what? The preparation you did in these 45 days before Rosh Hashanah, that's what should be sitting on the throne on the Day of Judgment. That should tip to your scale, to the scale of merit for you from the 40 from Tu B'Av. So in this sense, it's a happy day, B'ezrat Hashem. It's happy because now we're preparing ourselves for one of the greatest days of the year. Rabbi Nachman said about Rosh Hashanah by him, Mi shaya etzli a Rosh Hashanah, ra'ui lo lismoach kol hashana. Whoever is by me for Rosh Hashanah has every right to be happy the entire year. So Rosh Hashanah by tzaddikim is simcha. Why? Because you know you're going to make it through the Day of Judgment. In your own, you're in trouble. If you're all alone on Rosh Hashanah, you have what to worry about. You have what to be scared, afraid about, etc. But when you show emun and tzaddikim by traveling to them for Rosh Hashanah, and you rely yourself on their merit, so you're inscribed with the tzaddikim. That's how powerful it is to have emun and tzaddikim, which is illustrated by traveling to them, is that you become included with them. The tzaddik says, "And you come to me, so I'm taking care of you." It's like a green pass. That's why it's such a big thing, and that's why there's such obstacles to doing it, because it's such a big thing. It's such a benefit for the person and all those dependent upon him, his wife, his kids, etc., of him being by this tzaddik for Rosh Hashanah on the Day of Judgment. So it helps him to go scot-free. So, but again, according to commensurate to your preparation, that's how much you can even glean from the tzaddik, the Rosh Hashanah by the tzaddik even. There's levels. For everything there's levels. Okay, it's not like just point blank you're in and that's it. There's levels. There's the minimum and there's what you build upon it, B'ezrat Hashem. So these 45 days are very special to building up yourself to become an Adam. 45, a man, a person. The preparation for Rosh Hashanah is what will tip the scale, will depend on how much the scale is tipped for you, for the benefit on Rosh Hashanah. Okay, so last week was really amazing how Reb Noson opened up this whole verse that we read about Avram Avinu from Parshat VaYera. How Reb Noson explained this amazing verse. We'll just go over it quickly. V'hu yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. That it says that the person, the Jew, who's trying to advance in life, he's trying to come forward, and the gate, the entrance is closed, and he's waiting. What else is there to do? He's waiting to go in, and he's waiting, and then while he's waiting, the heat of the ta'avot, of the evil desires, is heating the person up. And the person has an option to just drop it, leave it. It's not for you. But the person says, no, I'm not budging, not even an inch. I'm here. But look at you. You're such a low life. You're such a nobody. You keep on blemishing. What are you expecting them to open up for? He says, no, I'm here. I'm not budging from here. Okay? And this is what he says, that Yoshev Peta is waiting. Yoshev is from the language of waiting. Petach ha'oil, the entrance to the tent, waiting for them to open up the tent. And then I'm being heated up, I don't care. I'm not going to accept the logic of the rationale of the Yetzirah saying, just drop it, just go be like everybody else, just forget about Yiddishkeit, drop it, leave it, you know? I just saw a picture of a friend, I haven't seen him in like 30 years, And I see him now. He's not religious and everything. Facebook, you see friends sometimes on Facebook. And this person, he had a hard life. He lost his mother when he was like a teenager, and his father remarried, and he had children with the second wife, and they're growing up in the same house. So it was a bit of balagan. It wasn't so easy. And I remember him trying to hold on to being religious because he grew up Shomer Shabbat and everything. And I remember seeing him one day. He took off his kippah, and he said like this: I gave Hashem a try. I gave Hashem a chance, as if I gave Hashem a chance, and it's not working out for me. And he just left it. And I'm saying to myself, what is this? You're giving Hashem a chance. So that's basically it. People, they can't handle the tests, or at least they think they can't handle the tests, and they easily back off because they want it easy. People want it easy. I don't want to work hard. I don't want to work hard for the truth. So many people, they just back off, and they lose in the end. They lose in the end. They don't have this world, and for sure they don't have the next world. They lose everything. That's a big, big test. It's so easy to fall into this world. There's vacation at the press of a button, and this everything is so easy to do, just to go away from serving Hashem, from doing evil. It's just so easy. It's such a test. It's unbelievable. But here Reb Noson is saying, you gotta be stubborn. You gotta be stubborn. Okay? What we didn't mention last week is Reb Noson, again, he's writing all this while he was going with Likutey Moharan lesson 24. And the two main themes of Likutey Moharan lesson 24 is number one, being happy, and being happy in serving Hashem, feeling good about it. Not feeling, it's forced upon me, but feeling good that you put on tefillin, good that you say brachot, good that you keep Shabbat. You feel good about it, okay? And what this leads you to is you go up and up and up and up until you reach the Keter. The Keter is the gateway, is the entrance to the infinite light. But the Keter doesn't just let you in, it pushes you back. And the pushing back is similar to what Reb Noson is saying here, V'hu yoshev petach ha'ohel kechom hayom. The door is closed. And so I'm left behind, I'm waiting, because he says in Likutey Moharan lesson 24 that Keter also translates as waiting. Where do we see that? The word Keter appears differently in a verse in the book of Eov, in Job. In the book of Eov, I'm trying to remember what chapter again, I think it's been a while now, chapter 34, 32. Eov's friend, it tells him, Katar li ze'er, Elihu ben Barachel, that's it, Elihu. Elihu tells Eov, Elihu's trying to convince Eov not to attack Hashem, not to curse Hashem, and not to blame Hashem, but rather to believe that everything is just and Hashem, everything, because Eov suffered a lot. He lost kids, he lost his money, he started getting leprosy on his body, he was being attacked from all the corners, and he just wanted to blaspheme and turn against Hashem. There's no judgment, there's nothing's fair. So Elihu gave arguments. In his third argument, he said like this: Katar li za'er v'achaveka. Wait for me a moment to compose my mind, and I'll even answer you even better reasons why not to question Hashem's ways, and to have faith. Okay? So the word he uses, katar. It's a funny word. It's not even Hebrew. It's in Aramaic. Katar, which is the same letters as keter, the crown. Katar li za'er. Wait for me a little. So Rabbi Nachman shows from this that Keter connotes waiting, like by Avram Avinu. Avram Avinu, in the example Reb Noson's bringing here, is Hu Yoshev. Reb Noson indicated the word Yoshev means he's waiting. That's like Keter, Katar. He's waiting at the entrance of the tent. He's waiting. They don't want to let me in. So the normal person will say, well, the door's closed. Go somewhere else. Go back home. No, this is where I have to be. This is the place that I have to be. This is my salvation, right? There's a famous expression, salvation comes to those who wait for it. If you don't wait for it, you might lose. When you leave, they open the door, right? I had it last week, just something funny. I had to go to the post office to pick up a package. And I don't know if you know, but the post offices here in the religious neighborhoods is just a balagan. It's upside down. Even if they have numbers, everything's upside down. People always cheating. Can I go this, that? People, they go, there's no rules. Even if though they try to make rules, there's numbers, wait for your number. It doesn't work like that. There's always people, can I go? I have to pick up, I have to go to yeshiva, I have to go to this, I have to daven mincha. By Jewish people, there's no, you can't, as much as you try to make seder, it doesn't work. Okay, it's so funny. So I'm there waiting, and I came 5 minutes after my turn. So the computer says you lost your turn, sign in for another one. Okay, I'm signing in for another one, and it's in another hour. I'm here already. I worked in this heat to get all the way to the post office. So I told the guy, I said, look, I just came 10 minutes later. He said, listen, Shev, wait, sit down, and wait your turn, and Bezat Hashem, I'll let you in. So I'm waiting, and he's taking his cup of coffee, and he's watching his latest, what's it called, Hodaot. What is it, Hodaot? He's getting notifications on WhatsApp and everything. And I'm platzing, and I'm hungry, and I don't know what to do, and this and that. And after 20 half an hour, nothing's moving. So I leave. So I can't. This is ridiculous. So I left, and then I came back at the time that I'm supposed to come. An hour later, I came back. So when I came back an hour later, he said to me, "Where were you? Why did you leave?" He said, "I was about to take you in. Why did you leave?" And I was saying to myself, that's the whole test of life. You have to learn patience. You have to learn patience. It's crazy. Probably the biggest test of people in life is patience. Just to wait a little. Just to wait a little, and you'll have your turn. Just wait a little. It's so hard. It's so hard. And here Reb Noson saying, though, for the gate of holiness, don't play games. This is the gateway for all of life. Don't play games. Wait. What does it mean to wait? You're being smashed up and down, up and down, up and down, like everybody. But you say, even though I'm not worthy, even though I've had major setbacks, I'm still here. I'm still waiting to go in, okay? So this is connected to the idea that when a person reaches the keter, he's pushed back. Pushed back meaning they don't let him go in. They say, wait, you're in the waiting room. I'm in the waiting room, but while I'm in the waiting room, I'm being heated up by the temptations and ta'avot, falling into cheating on eating diet, cheating on the eyes, guarding the eyes, holiness of the eyes, cheating on this, cheating on that. The heat, the temptations are burning a person, but the person says, okay, no matter what, I'm still here. I'm still here. Okay, I didn't move. I'm not budging. This is how it's related to lesson 24. And Reb Noson says this is such an important message in life to remember that you've got to be stubborn. When Rabbi Nachman said don't give up, this is basically what he meant. What do you mean not to give up? But I'm falling. What do you mean not to give up? I'm falling into my test. You tell me not to give up? I'm falling and falling and falling. What do you mean not to give up? Because you're falling, but within a cup of not giving up. In other words, the cup of your life, the foundation of your life, is not giving up. Inside it, all this upside down roller coasters happening in life. But it's inside the cup that you haven't given up. In other words, I'm still here. You ask me now to become an idol worshiper? No, I'm not going to be an idol worshiper. I'm going to take off my kippah? No, I'm not going to say, well, if I fell, then I'm just dropping it all over. I have to bring up things that come up. Some memories come up, and I feel that it's from Shemaim. In the early 2000s, I came to Israel in the late 1990s, and I started working for a yeshiva of Kabbalah, a Sephardi yeshiva that they also had a printing publishing house, and they were working on books of Kabbalah. Fine. So while working there, we can listen to music. We're listening to music. It helps us to work sometimes better, concentration, whatever. So there was an album, the first religious album of religious Jewish trance music. The guy's name, I think I should bring it up because it hurts the story and it's so powerful. The guy's name, people probably don't know this name. His name is, I think he's still alive, Menachem Philip. This Menachem Philip is the one who introduced Jewish trance music. In other words, he introduced trance, the trance, a beat like that, into the Jewish world of modern Jewish religious pop trance music. Okay, there was a lot of rabbis, the Rosh Yeshivas were upset and whatever. I went to a lot of bikoret, a lot of what's the word? There was a polemic on this album, but many people liked it, especially Baal Tshuvas. The music is like sounding like American trance music, whatever. Okay, and he took psukim from the Torah, and he's putting trance music on it, and it became so popular. and had such a good vibe. So even at work, we were listening to it a lot. Fine. And that's how I got to find out about it, because we were listening at work, and I said, wow, this is an amazing album. Okay, this is late 90s, early 2000s. Okay? 10 years later, it happened that I saw a documentary that he put out. This Menachem Philip, he shows his life, that he grew up in a family. A father was a Holocaust survivor. He had like 9 siblings. They grew up in Bnei Brak. And the father, I guess because he was a Holocaust survivor, he had a trauma. And he was a tough father. He would beat his kids. So they all got beatings. They grew up in Bnei Brak. Total Litvish, yeshivish, the black cat, everything. And he got married and had kids and everything. But inside something was bothering him on his emunah, because everything was with force and everything. And he videos himself the day that he decides to become non-religious. You see him shaving off all of his hair to become a skinhead, taking off all of his hair, and then he divorces, and he leaves his wife and his kids, and he goes to the Himalayas, he goes into Buddhism and stuff like that. And then the document shows how one after the next his siblings fall off also. Each one falls off in a different way. One sister becomes a secular Jew in downtown Tel Aviv. It's very sad. Each one falls off, okay? So I'm bringing this up. The guy, his intent wasn't good. When he did the trance music and he brought it into the Jewish world, it's because something was bothering him, that he wasn't happy with himself. You can understand that. His father, he said, was a big Talmid Chacham, but he was getting hit by his father the whole time. All the kids were getting hit. Even once they came back to visit after they became secular, and the father came out with like a broom to hit them. And they're already like his children are in their 20s, their 30s, and the father doesn't want to speak to them. So he's going out with like a broom. They say, see our father, you see? This is the love of the father to the kids. So they blame their upbringing for how they turned off. I can understand that. But it's your test. It's your test. Do you think the person who does that, do you think when you get to heaven and then they want to charge you, you're going to get off by saying, well, look, I grew up with a father like this. A father was a Holocaust survivor who was always beating us up. Do you think in heaven they're going to accept that? Or are they going to say to you, but we sent you a test that we knew you can handle? That you have ups and downs in life we can understand, but that you just drop off totally, you're going to pay for that. Like we said last week, that they have reserved on the side punishment for all the transgressions you did. If chas v'shalom you decide to give up and to become what's called mazid, intentional, then retroactively they're going to pay you and punish you for all the things you did in your life that weren't there at the time. As opposed to the person whose whole life he keeps on falling and sinning, but he's always regretting and he's always telling Hashem, I don't want to be like this, and he's always fighting back. Such a person is always showing that he's mitcharet, that is regret. And the Rambam says the essence of tshuva is the charata. And heaven knows if you're sincere. When you're telling, it's not like you're playing a game, I'm going to sin, like Pirkei Avot says. Pirkei Avot says, a person says, achate v'ashuv, person says, I'll sin and then I'll do tshuva. I'll sin and do tshuva. So Pirkei Avot says, they don't give a person the opportunity to leave this world of tshuva. In other words, they cut him off before he can do the tshuva. Okay? However, a person who doesn't do like that, he doesn't want to be bad, but he feels no other, he falls. He's weak and he falls. But then he tells Hashem, I don't want to be like this. And I'm telling you the truth, Hashem. If it's up to me, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be like this. So as a person, if he merits and he doesn't give up, when he makes it, they turn all the transgressions into zchuyot, into merits, B'ezrat Hashem. It's a big thing. But the person now, who at the end decided, I don't want this, and he's, ga'ava, haughtiness, I don't deserve this, I deserve that Hashem helps me, He's not with me. So who needs the Torah? It's like chas v'shalom, they say about the Torah, lo meduvshech velo meuktzech. I don't want your honey and I don't want your sting. I don't need it. And then they drop off chas v'shalom and they paid. Because heaven says, but we sent you hope. We sent you a chance. You didn't want to look. It was your fault. You're always looking extreme. It has to be perfect or 100% or zero. No 95, 80, 70, 60, 50. No. Or 100% or zero. So most people, they fall because of that, because they're too perfectionist. And also, the perspective they're given in Judaism is you have to be a tzaddik, if not you're going to burn. Unfortunately, in HaEzer and in schools, they educate children with too much yira. You have to have yira, but you have to have ahava. If it's just dinim, like judgment and strict, So for sure the child's going to fall off. For sure they're not going to, when they grow up, you give me such a bad impression of Judaism that it's all, if you don't do, then you're going to burn in hell and burn in hell. Of course I'm not interested. I'm not interested in this. That's why it's important to give a balance. It's important to give a balance, but to know that there's hope, you have to hold on. That's why it makes so sense today that you need tzaddikim. Just traditional Torah Judaism as is transmitted in schools and yeshivas and everything, it's not enough. You need a tzaddik to give you the balance of rachamim, of compassion, to show you that there's major compassion. On one hand, you have to aspire. You have to go forward, you have to ascend, you have to work hard. It's true, you have to work hard. Just like people who want to lose weight, they work hard, they exercise, and they go on diet, they kill themselves. So too in Judaism, to become a tzaddik, you have to work hard. It's hard work. It's hard work. It's day in, day out, working on yourself. And you keep on falling, but you keep on working on yourself. It's true. But we need tzaddikim to show that there's hope. That every little drop of good that you do counts. It goes a long way. And if you hold on, you're going to make it. I need to hear that. I need to hear that I'm going to make it. And that B'ezrat Hashem, I can bypass these tests. So, Reb Noson again, going back to what he's saying, waiting at the tent is so important. He said this is the most important lesson of life, is you have to not budge. You don't budge even an inch. Even if you personally, in the meantime of having ups and downs, you don't budge. You know what it's like? It's like if ever you do stocks. There's stocks, there's trading stocks. So you have grids, like a yearly grid, a daily grid, a monthly. So you have like the yearly grid, and when you have a good year, it's like up. But when you do a zoom in, so you see that in the ups, it's like there's ups and downs, but there's ups and downs going up, and there's ups and downs going down. So there's always ups and downs. That's how it is. You're buying and selling. That's how the trade works. That you try to sell at that high point, at the time that people are buying, that it's the best time to sell. So you make sure you sell there. So they're going to sell, and then it goes down. And then you buy. And then you sell when it's high, and you buy when it's low. That's how it is, right? So there's always ups and downs. But the thing is, it's like in the trade. Are there ups and downs while going up? Or the ups and downs while going down? Even then, there's sometimes that there's a plateau, and something that actually goes down in the yearly picture. Yes, I had a period of a down for like a month or two. A member of the family chas v'shalom passed away, or there was a surgery, or this happened, or things really, a child fell off the path and it got me broken and depressed and everything. Okay, but the person gets back up. Okay, he gets back up. It's unbelievable. By the Holocaust, that was the biggest test. Majority of people, after the Holocaust, they couldn't start again. I think I told the story here that there was a Breslover who managed to start again after the Holocaust. I'm trying to remember his name. This Breslover was very interesting. He was saved by miracle. His family was in Poland, and he had business dealings in Lithuania. So he told his wife and his kids, I'm going to try to see what I can do in Lithuania to bring you guys out, because already the Nazis started coming into Poland. So he said, I'm going to go to Lithuania because I have a business permit to go there. So while he was in Lithuania, it was too late. The Germans, they came and they started killing it, and he lost his wife and his kids, and he had to save himself. And by miracle, he got a visa with the Japanese embassy to leave with the Mir Yeshiva, and also there was the Tomchei Torah of Chabad. I think they're called Tomchei Torah, Torah Tamima. I think Tomchei Torah. Both the Chabad Yeshiva and the Mir Yeshiva got exit visas. So he was close to Chabad, so he got an exit visa also, even though he was a Breslover. Okay? So he got to Shanghai. While in Shanghai, they needed Sfarim. There are all these yeshiva students, and there's no Sfarim. So they printed Sfarim very cheap in China, in Shanghai. And he decided, why not print the Tikkun HaKlali? So he printed it to Rabbi Nachman's Tikkun HaKlali in Shanghai. And this guy lost everybody. He lost his wife and kids. And he got to America, and by miracle, he remarried, even though it was like in his late 40s. Most people that age were just totally broken because they have kids already who were married or teenagers, and then to lose everything and to start again, most people couldn't. People who survived the Holocaust who were in their late 40s, it was so difficult for them to start again. When they had small kids, it's something else. If a man survived the Holocaust in his 20s or early 30s and the children were still small, so there was pain, but he could start again. But when you have older kids and they're all taken away, it's really painful. So most people after the Holocaust who lost family members and they were already like in their late 40s, early 50s, it was a killer for them to start again. And he, as if nothing, with such strength and simcha, he remarried, and he had a son who was like 40 years younger than him. You can imagine. So one day he was walking in Bnei Brak, he came to visit Eretz Yisrael, and he met a Rosh Yeshiva that was with him in Shanghai from Mir. And he saw him, and he recognized him, and he started crying, and he said, "Who is this young man?" He says, "This is my son." He thought for sure maybe it's like his grandson or a nephew or whatever. He couldn't believe that he remarried and started again, and the Rosh Yeshiva started, the rabbi started crying. He couldn't believe that he was able to start again. This is how it is in life. That a person, it's easier said than done. We're talking, blah, 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 giving a shir. I know it's a test. It's a shir test. But Reb Noson is telling us, stay at the entrance of the tent. Okay? Let's continue. And after he gave over this amazing idea of Noson, he says like this, V'haven heitev. Understand this very well. Ki ita bidvarav zal. Because it's brought in elsewhere in Rabbi Nachman's teachings, and he's quoting now another lesson. Lesson 48, part 2 of Likutey Moharan, which is known, I mentioned this last week also, it's known as the Igeret. It's like a personal letter Rabbi Nachman wrote to each person. You feel that Rabbi is talking directly to you about all the tests you're going through in life, and how you have to hold on. Okay? It's there, Rabbi Nachman's famous statement, that a person has to walk on a very, very narrow bridge, and the main thing is not to be afraid. Not to make yourself afraid. There also he says the following. He says, "Shelifamim ha'adam etzel ha'petach v'ushav le'achor." There are times when a person's already at the entrance and they're about to open for him, and the person just goes back. Okay? Just wait a little. You're there already. And the person says, "I can't anymore. I can't hold on anymore." And they just shav le'achor. Or another scenario, that he goes back because shemishtateach o mitpashet az kenegdo habal davar v'chule. That at that point he's about to enter, but the evil side decides to spread itself out against the person. It's big time, and to prevent the person from going in. Okay, but in both scenarios, the same thing is said. Aval mi shechoshev al tachlito hanitzchi be'emet, because of these two scenarios, people they back off, they leave. The guy, he goes behind, or the Yitzhak is too unbearable, and he backs up also, and he decides to leave totally. Reb Noson says about both scenarios, Aval mi shechoshev al tachlito hanitzchi be'emet v'chas al chayav be'emet. However, someone who thinks about his ultimate purpose in life, his true purpose, his eternal purpose, truthfully. He doesn't look for pride and honor and cliche and what's famous and what's popular, but he's looking at the eternal purpose of life, and he has pity on his life. He doesn't want to fool anybody. He doesn't want to come back to this world again. He has true pity on his life. Such a person who really is concerned about his ultimate purpose in life, Eino Shav La'achor. Such a person doesn't retreat. He doesn't abandon the entrance. And he said it on both scenarios. Whether you go, in other words, the guys who go back, and whether the Yetzer Hara is too strong. In both scenarios, the guy doesn't back off. Ve'eno zaz mimekomo chas v'shalom b'shum ofen. And he doesn't budge even an inch from his place at all. I'm here still. Okay, ups and downs, okay. Okay, I get smacked up, okay. But I'm not leaving here. Raku Yoshev umamtin etzel petach oel hakdusha shu oel Beit Midrash ve'oel tzaddikim v'aksherim. Unbelievable. Af al pi shechom hayom boer chas v'shalom v'ayidei zeh vayira elav Hashem. Unbelievable. Rather, the person is sitting and waiting by the entrance of the tent of holiness to go in. And he says, what is that? What is considered the tent of holiness? She'oel Beit Midrash ve'oel tzaddikim v'aksherim. This is the tent of the Batei Midrashim and the tents of the tzaddikim and the ksharim. He's already telling us where to wait. Where do you have to wait in order for them to open the doors? You should be in a Beit Midrash. Every Jew, his real home is the Beit Midrash. They say most people should spend more hours in the Beit Midrash more than anywhere else. You have your home, you have your work, and you have the Beit Midrash. The majority of your hours, ideally, should be in the Beit Midrash. The majority of your hours should be learning Torah, yes. And also he says, the tent of the tzaddikim, that you go to tzaddikim. You try to be by the tzaddikim and the righteous. That's where you have to be waiting. When we say to wait, the waiting actually has a picture. It's not, okay, I'm working all day and I'm waiting for them to open the tent. No, I'm showing that I'm waiting. Yes, and where are you showing that you're waiting? I wait in the Beit Midrash. I spend time, quality time, in the Beit Midrash, whether I learn a little, whether I learn a lot, but that's my home, the Beit Midrash. And also the oil tzaddik. I told you the joke. I think I said the joke again. The joke of the wife, she calls the husband, and he says, yes, dear. And she says, tell me a joke. And he says, honey, I'm in the middle of the Beit Midrash learning. She said, tell me another joke. I said that once. You heard it. Okay. I'm just saying, it comes up now. Oil Beit HaMidrash, oil tzaddikim v'ksherim, the tent of the Beit Midrash, that's where the Jews, that's where you're waiting. You're waiting for them to open the tent. And where are you waiting? In the Beit Midrash. And you're waiting for them to open up the doors in the Beit Midrash for you. And the oil of the tzaddikim v'ksherim, unbelievable, the tent of the righteous tzaddikim and the righteous. And you're waiting there for the spiritual next level to open up for you. Even though the person is being heated up, because the big test of most people is when they see how much they've fallen in life, they say, why should I go learn Torah? I'm so impure, I've fallen so low, as if my Torah has a value. Look what I just did. Person does the worst things, if it's sexual transgressions or other things, bin adam lechavero, he does terrible things in kibud horim, whatever, and then begins to, the Torah tells him, look at you, you're such a nobody, why should you go learn? Why should you spend time learning? Why go to tzaddikim? The tzaddikim, they're going to see right through you, and they're going to see how disgusting you are. They're not even wanting to hold your hand. You say, go out. And it's just the exact opposite. When the tzaddikim receive, when people are so blemished, come to tzaddikim, it's just the opposite. The tzaddikim want these people more than anybody else. The fact that someone who's so blemished and so dirty spiritually, and yet they come to tzaddikim, the tzaddikim know that such people, by such people, they cause the greatest honor of Hashem. When someone that low comes to the tzaddikim, it makes the heavens tilt. Rabbi Nachman said about himself, when he was in Uman, before he passed away, his last 6 months of his life, so became very, very, very friendly with the leading maskilim who lived in Uman. Uman was the house of the greatest secular Jews in Russia. Each of them received from the Tsar of Russia a golden sword. Their names were Chaikel Horvitz, what was the other guy's name? Chaikel Horvitz, Hirschber Horvitz, and Moshe Landau. Moshe Landau, unfortunately, was a grandson of the Noda Yehuda, the famous rabbi, and he fell off. He became a maskil, and he was a doctor and everything. These three people were highly intellectual. Everybody was scared of them because they knew the Torah, but they were secular. They knew the Torah inside out. They knew all the Gemara, all the Shas. These people grew up religious, but they used the Torah to prove why we have to take Napoleon's ideology of making the Jews equality, égalité, what the Napoleon came to spread in the world, which is spread till today, of accepting the Jews into secular society. That's what made the Reformed Jews, we have to now rethink how to observe the Torah. So these guys were dangerous. You couldn't play games with them. They knew the Torah. So whenever a big rabbi came to Uman, they would come and challenge him. And they would make fun of him and mock. But when Rabbi Nachman came, they couldn't play games with him. The story is told that 10 years before Rabbi Nachman moved to Uman, even less, 10 years, about 1800, he passed by Uman and he stayed a Shabbat there. And like I said, these maskilim, every time a big rabbi would come to make fun of the rabbi. So they wanted to mock Rabbi Nachman. He came. So Rabbi Nachman was giving a drasha Friday night. As soon as they walked in, these three maskilim, and they wanted to get into the discussion and then to use it to argue against him. Rabbi Nachman switched the whole topic to discuss the mathematical problem of pi. The Gemara in two places, in Sukkah and Eruvin, I think it's page 8 in both Gemaras, goes into the formulation of pi. That doesn't end. 3.143, right? Because it's used to calculate how King Solomon made the basins, the big pools of water in the Beit Midrash that he built. The first Beit Midrash, he made big basins, and how they calculated the circumference and the perimeter and everything. So the Gemara goes into pi, and Tosfot also goes into it. So Rabbi Nachman presented a mathematical problem, and they were amazed. A big rabbi speaking a mathematical problem, which is good for us because we're intellectuals. So they got into it. They caught the question, and then they saw Rabbi Nachman's answer. They were amazed. They said to him after his drasha, when he started speaking the mathematical formula, they understood it was directed to them. So they said, he's talking to us now. We know that he's talking to us. After that, they became friendly, and they spoke to him some more, and they said, we would like you to be a rabbi here. We are so impressed with you, Rabbi Nachman. We'd like you to move to Uman, to be we like someone like you. So he said to them, when you bring me the book of your mentor, their mentor, his name was Wiesel. I'm trying to remember his first name, I forgot it, sorry. Wiesel was a main student of Moses Mendelssohn in Germany, and he wrote a book called Yen Levanon, where that is the main book that uses the Torah to prove why we should be reformed, Chas v'Shalom. Takes the Torah itself and shows, proving the Torah, why to go against the Torah. That's how dangerous it is. So Nachman told Chaykel Horvitz, when you bring me the book from your mentor, then I will move to Uman. That's what happened 10 years later. 10 years later, there was a fire on a Friday night, and all the houses in Breslov were burned, including Rabbi Nachman's house. On Sunday, a messenger came from Uman to Breslov with the book Yen Levanon. It's like the timing was crazy. Rabbi Nachman's house was burnt the night before, Friday night, 2 nights before. And on Sunday day, a messenger came already from Uman to bring Rabbi Nachman the book. The timing was just crazy. His house was just burnt. And right after his house was burnt, they sent the book Yen Levanon, and that was like the indication to come to Uman, to pass away also. Fine. I'm going into this. Why did I go into this? I'm trying to remember. I'm sorry, I got off topic. But there was a reason why I wanted to go into these maskilim. Yes, okay. So Rabbi Nachman said these maskilim when he finally moved to Uman. So he moved to Uman on the HaEzer, the 5th of Iyar, and then he spent. That means the month of Iyar, Sivan, Tammuz, Av, Elul, Tishrei, and he passed away on the 18th of Tishrei. Okay, in this time span, the maskilim, they became even closer to Rabbi Nachman. They came visiting almost every day, and they would play chess with him. He was playing chess with these guys. Then he made sure not to speak to them any word of Torah. Everything was just talking about science and medicine. Once even, they had a book written in Latin, in Greek. And Rabbi Nachman asked, what's that in your hand? And they said, it's not for you. He grabbed it from their hand, Rabbi Nachman, and he scanned 1 or 2 pages. It's in Greek, it's in Latin. He gave it back to them, and he said to them off by heart what was written on those 2-3 pages. Okay? We're talking about a person who wasn't normal. And even many times, he was able to read their minds. They came to him once with a question, a mathematical question, or a philosophical question. Before they even asked the question, he asked their question, and then he answered it. And they said, wow, this guy, our teacher, Wiesel, couldn't answer this question, and you could. You're smarter than Wiesel. The question is, how did you know we're going to ask you this question? So Rabbi Nachman said, someone who has a pure mind can read other people's thoughts. So when they heard that, they became so embarrassed. They said, now we really have to be embarrassed about this guy. So they started getting closer and closer. Came Rosh Hashanah. Hirsch Bear started to grow a beard. And he davened with Rabbi Nachman in his minyan. And his servant, they were rich, they were very wealthy. His servant came to offer him tea, like his morning tea. And he said, not before the shofar. I want to hear the shofar first, and I'm not going to drink the tea. And the shofar by the Ashkenazi minyanim, at least in Breslov, was like 2 in the afternoon, 3 in the afternoon, that's the shofar on Rosh Hashanah. And he said, I don't want to drink tea before he had the shofar. Unbelievable, okay? And the end, Rabbi Nachman passed away and they fell off. But why I'm saying all this, Rabbi Nachman said, when these maskilim come to me, when they go like this, like what it says, when they go like this over their head, all the heavens go like this. And when they go like this, all the heavens go like this. As if to say, when such people who are so far, so blemished, so upside down, but they come to a tzaddik, a true tzaddik, so every gesture they make makes tremendous impact in heaven. So that's why it's exact opposite of people think. People think, look at how blemished I am. I'll go to this tzaddik, he'll see right through me with his x-ray eyes, and he'll tell me, get out. And it's just the exact opposite of what they think. The exact opposite. By you coming to the tzaddikim, by a person who's so blemished coming to the Beit Midrash to learn and going to tzaddikim, it's just the exact opposite. The kavod you bring to Hashem by showing submission that you want to receive, you want to advance, but you have setbacks, you have failures, you have yetzara, but still you want to be a good Jew, okay? That's the funniest thing we see in Uman. Sometimes you see these guys, they come to Rabbi Nachman's kever, and they have tattoos all over, they have earrings all over, and they have ponytail and everything, and on Rabbi Nachman's kever, and they're bawling their eyes out. They're crying and crying. And some people say, and it's just the exact opposite. So you can imagine what heaven, what delight in heaven is happening when such a person, he's crying and he wants to come back to Hashem, even though the tattoos and everything, but do you know what heaven has for that? Do you know? Okay? So then all the more so about what you're going through. Every person, unfortunately, with what they go through, they think they're the worst. Most people, when they see how good Hashem is to them, and they see how much they've fallen, and they fell for stupid reasons, so most people, they feel so bad about themselves, they feel, he's better than me, with all his tattoos and everything, he's still better than me, he doesn't have my yetzara, he doesn't have my challenges and this and that, okay? So, okay, if that's the case, let's say it's true what you're saying, but that's no excuse to back off. It's not no excuse to say, so therefore, tzaddikim is not for me, Yiddishkeit is not for me, Torah is not for me, the Beit Midrash is not for me. No, just opposite. Nachon, I'm tameh, but there's clean water that can purify everything. That's the Torah. The Gemara says the Torah is like a mikveh. No matter how impure you are, learning Torah, being in the Beit Midrash itself just purifies a person. That's how powerful it is to learn Torah and to be in an atmosphere of Torah. Even if the person himself is blemished, being there has a purification effect. Because it's a non-stop gushing water of purity. That's the Torah. And all the more so the tzaddikim. Rabbi Nachman called himself, he said his name, Nachman, is hinted to in a verse from Mishlei, from Proverbs. Nachal novea mekor chochma. It's a verse from Mishlei, which translates a flowing brook, Nachal novea, a source of wisdom. A flowing brook is idea that the tzaddikim, and this is brought down in many sfarim, in the Zohar and the Midrash, that the tzaddikim, they have a power to heal and purify even the worst blemishes. So a person shouldn't say, look what I did, look what I've gone through, there's no hope for me. Who says? Why the biggest pain for Hashem, so to speak, is that a person diminishes Hashem's power and the power of the Torah and the power of the tzaddikim. People feel, look at me. They're going to take me. That was the whole blemish of Acher, by the way. Acher, Elisha ben Avuya. His blemish was that he heard this heavenly voice, Shuvu banim shovavim, return all wayward children except for Acher. In other words, everyone has hope except for Acher. So he told his student, remember Balanes, there's no hope for me. And he says, nonetheless, there is hope for you. And I'll make sure there's hope for you. And in the end, his student got him in. But his whole reason why he backed off is because he heard a divine voice telling there's a hope for you. It could be true, but the real truth, Reb Noson writes this many places, the real truth is there's hope for everybody. No matter how low they've fallen, there's hope for everybody to come back. The thing is, it takes a lot of determination for the truth. That even though I've done what I've done, I know there's hope for me. There's one amazing story of this idea. In the 1920s, when communist Russia started and was very bad, they were paying Jews to become undercover agents to report on other Jews who are doing Shabbat, Shechita, because they were trying to forbid everything. They were trying to knock down religion, okay? So there was one guy, his name was Tzadok. He lived in Uman, and he had a very bad reputation, but he informed. He was an informer. He was a paid informer, and he informed on many religious Jews that they're doing this, they're teaching their children Torah and everything, and he got many Jews killed. Many Jews killed because he's informing. At a certain point in the 1930s, he lost his father, and something inside him made him feel a regret, and then he wanted to say Kaddish for his father. He went to one shul to say Kaddish. They kicked him out. They said, after what you did to us, every shul he went to, the only shul he was able to go into in Uman was the Breslover shul, because they knew if someone is coming to us to do a mitzvah, we open the door for that person. So they let him in. He said Kaddish. He came back again, another day, and this is going great. So then they asked him, maybe you want to put on tefillin, maybe you want to do this. I hope I didn't lose the connection in a second, sorry. Okay, now it's still recording. So he started coming back, and then he began to have a regret. Look at the damage I got so many Jews killed. What can I do? So he spoke to a Breslov elder, Rabbi Yitzchak Bender, and he said to him, he asked him, what can I do for all the souls that I killed? I helped kill Jews. I'm probably in heaven, I'm finished. He said, what can I do? So he said, listen, we have one thing missing now in Uman. The KGB, they're called the NKVD, that was the predecessor to the KGB. They closed all the women's mikvahs. You want now to fix the souls that you killed? Help build a mikveh to bring in more new Jewish souls into the world. So he said, I'm going to do that. He was a tough guy. So he had a barn, and he secretly dug underneath the barn an underground mikveh for women, and he made it in such a good way that it was totally hidden, and all the women in Uman knew that there was a secret, and there's no informers on this. It was kept totally secret well, and all the women started to go, because there was no mikveh there, they closed the women's mikvehs. He had a merit of reopening to fix. You hear that? To fix the damage, and his intent was to fix the damage of what he did. So the point is, again, I think we'll stop here because this is really amazing. We'll go over this again, a little bit of this next week, hopefully, or next class. Next week there's no class, I think, Visit Hashem. But the point is that to not give up means to stay at the entrance of the tent. And entrance of the tent, he says here clearly, you stay at the entrance of the Beit Midrash and the tents of the tzaddikim. That means graves of tzaddikim, actual tzaddikim. Be around righteous individuals. Even if a person is blemished, he shouldn't say, I don't deserve to be around these people. Who am I? Look, I'm so upside down. You shouldn't say that. You say, Ajaba. If now I'm so blemished, then for sure the only hope I have now is here, so I'm not budging from here. So if all fits in together, and a person has to not give up and wait at the entrance and wait for them to open the door for him. And even though in the meantime he's falling, but he waits. Reb Noson will even go further on this, B'ezrat Hashem. We'll continue this in the next class, B'ezrat Hashem. And in the meantime, the main point, so I just want to finish that line here. The one line was like this. רק שהוא יושב וממתין אצל פתח אוהל הקדושה, שהוא אוהל בית המדרש ואוהל הצדיקים הכשרים. Rather, he sits and waits at the entrance of the tents of holiness, which are the tents of the Beit Midrash. You don't have like the door closed on them. They have the code to get in. They have the key to get in. But to be there and wait for them to open up the supernal entrance, which is to be found by the Beit Midrash, and is to be found by the tents of the tzaddikim and the righteous individuals, Afal pi shechom hayom, even though the heat of the day, which is the temptations, bo'er chas shalom, is heating up the person to fall into many transgressions, God forbid, but he still waits. If a person does this, VaYera elav Hashem, the opening pasuk in Parshat VaYera, and the Lord and Hashem appeared to him, to Avram Avinu. And for Hashem to appear to a person, in other words, to have a revelation from God, this is the process, is that you have to be determined. These people who claim huji-buji, they are in a meditative state and they have visions of God, it may be true, maybe not, but that's not the way. the way to get a true perspective of Hashem is through hard work. Hard work meaning you're not budging from the entrance. You're standing by the entrance. You're waiting to go in. You don't fall off. We'll continue here, Bezat Hashem, in the next class, Bezat Hashem. Thank you for joining. Chazak u Baruch. Thank you, Hashem. Thank you, Rabbi Nachman.